Hello, everyone. Welcome to another YouTube live stream for the Windows Champ. Um, Great to be back. Great to do another live stream. I appreciate anybody who joins. And as always, this is recorded and put on the channel to be watched later. A lot of people will typically get caught up on IoT products by watching the live stream later. We also use the content also to create additional videos, that kind of thing. It's good content. So thank you for joining the live stream. It looks like we do have a couple of people. It's perfect. It's perfectly great to say hi. This is pretty informal stuff here. So if you reach out, say hi. Looks like we got 3 people out there right now, so that's great. But just make a comment, say hi, introduce yourself, say hello. It helps me know who's out there. And we will jump into it today because we have a special guest. There's Maria. Hey, Maria. Thanks for joining. And I want to introduce the special guest today is my coworker, Mr. Henry Castillo. Let me get him on the screen here. Hey, Henry.
Hey, Ken. How's it going?
Good. How are you? How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me on today.
So Henry and I, we work together daily, and in fact, because we're both on this live stream right now, nobody's answering any of the Windows IoT questions that we get all the time. So, so it would be funny, interesting. It would be cool if somebody had questions. They just come ask them. Just ask the question here, and that's true. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. We'll get to them. But Henry, you and I, we've worked together for a long time. I was trying to think,
At least 20 years now.
like 20 years?
Yeah.
My
At
gosh.
least I think it all started back in about 2004, 2005. Somewhere.
Yeah. So because you were supporting Lenovo. What's funny is I always forget the name before Lenovo now because it was IBM, it was X Series, right?
Yeah.
IBM
Yeah.
X Series.
System
It
X.
was IBM X Series, then Lenovo.
Yeah. It got bought out. That part of it got bought out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back in
IBM days.
those days, we had a lot of fun Microsoft promos. I would come out and train configuration team that put together the X Series configurations, and we had promos where if you put Windows on the X Series or configured it with the Windows server and stuff, you earned raffle tickets for prizes. It was fun. Those were good days.
Yeah. Xbox stuff. I remember Rock Band games, Guitar Hero.
Yeah, Rock Band. That was the thing back then. Xbox games. Of course, all the config guys, and again, 20 years ago, we were all much younger. So, although we still play video games today. So you're located in San Antonio, Texas, and yeah, I'm from Texas, and I used to, even when I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. So even then, I would fly back to Texas, visit my family, and then go do some trainings at the office there. So, and then multiple times we were separated, and then I hired you back and kept bringing you back a couple different times. So, but you are now our Arrow Microsoft Sales Champion, and for those that don't know, he is the person you'll interface with if you come to Arrow to get Windows IoT licensing. He handles the CLA agreement, the media, the product keys, a lot of the basic type stuff. He's your guy, and he's always available. And if he's not available, we back up each other. And I will mention we also still have Scott Schmiel, who's been with Arrow and supported Microsoft for years. He is a solution architect these days and supports many other products beyond Microsoft, but he also backs us up if we happen to be both out, like right now. He would probably jump in and out. But cool, it's awesome to have you as a special guest. I hope to have more special guests on the live stream because I think it's fun. I should also mention this is our first time doing a special guest, and this tool we use, it's really cool how we can have a guest that is remote come into this little tool and we can interact with each other. So one of the things I asked Henry to do was to, I'm going to jump to the PowerPoint now that I created. So for our live stream for June 2025, special guest Henry, and I asked him to talk about what are the 5 top questions that you get often all the time, and here they are. So Let's start with that number one up there. Am I eligible for IoT products? So, um, tell me about your experience with that, Henry. Like when people.
Absolutely. This is usually the first introduction that I get with our customers when they come to us asking questions is, of course, everybody wants to purchase from us. They see that we sell it, but we have to clarify, are you eligible? So are you an OEM that builds, markets, sells, and supports a dedicated fixed purpose appliance for somebody? Not a general purpose computer. So digital signage, POS machine. Lots of times we get medical equipment with a specific purpose. So something that's not necessarily going to be used to check email or surf the internet. Something that you probably don't even know that Windows is installed on that device, but you're using it every day to perform a very specific function.
So quick thing, funny thing is I almost wore that same shirt today. I was this close to wearing that shirt. That would have been awesome. We both had the same shirt on without it, with zero planning.
Yeah.
So I almost wore that. But you're right. With this YouTube channel, we get people from all over the world and all different industries and just regular home users that want IoT. So Henry gets the joy of filtering out just the home user or the college student or the gamer who just wants a stripped down version of Windows because all he does is game on his Windows PC. And ironically, there is a Windows IoT LTSC version that regular people can buy, but it's very expensive. It's an upgrade to Pro, and it's a $295 upgrade to Pro. So most people don't want to do that, and they usually end up getting the licenses probably through unofficial methods. But as far as official methods to get the IoT licenses, the only way is through an authorized IoT distributor like Arrow Electronics, and we are by far the number one and the best distributor for the IoT products because of our years of experience in supporting these products. But yes, you must be an OEM that builds appliances of some kind. It's got to be an appliance. You got to be an OEM that's building it and then reselling it as a solution. Typically, internal use is a completely different discussion. So we're looking for those OEMs that build appliances. And if you're an OEM that builds appliances and you're still using Windows 10 Pro or Windows 11 Pro, you need to switch to us. There's so many advantages to switching to IoT. So then the next question is, where can I obtain the media? Yeah, we kind of turned into the media help, right?
Right.
I'll let you speak to that because ultimately we kind of want them to use the official Microsoft way, but yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The preferred method would be Microsoft's own media portal. It's called EDOC, EDOC. I don't know if you have a link to that or anything that you can share, but it's
That's
www.microsoftoem.com.
true. Let me.
So
You
once,
keep talking. I'm gonna add that
okay,
while you talk. So.
once we find out whether you're eligible or not, and we get you signed up with the CLA, which is the agreement you sign with Microsoft that says that you are an OEM that builds these devices, you're interested in this OS, and you'd like to begin this journey. Once it's all said and done and approved, you get access to this portal, which provides you with access to all of the IoT media. It's not most of the time, our most common are the client versions, Windows 10, Windows 11 now, that people are looking to put on devices. But they also have server, they have SQL, they have Office. So anything that's available through the IoT channel, you can get here at this site. And like Ken mentioned, we have kind of become a second option and have begun storing some of the media ourselves. There can be some delays when the CLA is first approved and customers are really anxious to get going. So while they wait for everything to get processed on Microsoft's side, we can provide the media as well from our own OneDrive share.
I'm gonna ask you to like scoot over a little bit because your name tag is. I had to do the same. Our name tag is
Oh,
covering our face. Like just if your
oh
chair
wow.
was where you
So
chair
I
scoot
didn't see
over.
that. Okay,
There you go.
you come this way.
That's the fun
All
part
right.
of live streaming and doing this for the first time. So yeah, when the Windows squished us down, our name tag is
Gotcha.
in the way, but that's fine. Um, so next question is, how can I create a bootable USB? Yeah, and so my commentary here is, I guess I've created bootable USB sticks for 40 years now. Well, I guess USB sticks weren't around for 40 years, but I've done it for so long that I can't imagine someone not knowing how to create a bootable USB stick. But it happens all the time. People they download the ISO and then they don't know how to create a bootable USB, which again, for I guess it's, for people who aren't technical, it could be tricky. So, how do you help people with that?
Yeah, so we do get that a lot, and the first place that I point them to is your YouTube channel, just because you've made so much content on there, and I don't know if now's the time to plug that entirely or not, but almost anything you're looking
Yep.
for related to IoT, you can find out there on Ken's YouTube channel.
And we're on the YouTube channel now
Yeah,
live. So
obviously. But if you
so
have, yeah,
all
if
you
you
have to
haven't
do is just
searched or
search
browsed the
on
site,
search on how to create bootable USB in my
right.
on my channel, and I have videos there.
We've got a
Um,
couple different
and
videos out there. I think the easiest one is probably the Rufus tutorial.
yeah, the Rufus.
Very
Yeah, the Rufus is
straightforward.
simple. Although Rufus has got a little more tricky lately, because they added stuff to strip like the secure boot and TPM and things out of Windows 11, but it's still way easier than the command line. I do have a video on how to use a command line to create a USB bootable USB. Yeah, it's a little more techy, but that's true.
But yeah, one way
So
or another, we've got the solution.
yeah, and we can definitely help you if you need help with any of the steps. We obviously have a team that can assist. Um, where can I purchase a product key? Oh yeah, my favorite.
Right. Yeah. So, a very common misconception that a lot of our customers have, and people in general, I think, is that the product key for your Microsoft operating system is your license. I mean, it does have a part in activating the product and getting you through the installation, but it is not the license. The license is actually the COA sticker that you purchase when you're ready to send your devices out into the world, whether it be to a customer site or a remote location where they're going to be deployed. That's when you would want to affix your license, your sticker. The product key itself is actually available to people that have signed the CLA direct from Microsoft. They can request the key specific to the OS that they're looking for, the client OS. It's good for 50,000 activations, and they can use it for all of their testing and the production devices that they plan on selling to customers. But this is free. That it's requested is provided for
Yeah.
free. There's no cost associated with this portion of it. Again, it's not the license; it's strictly activating the product.
That's the biggest. I'd say it's the number one misconception is the key is the license, and I need to buy a key, and that the key costs money. The key is not the license. It is free. It just makes the product work, and the license is a physical sticker at this stage that you have to buy to put on the device to make it legal. But we get that all the time. How can I buy more product keys? I need to buy more. How can I buy a key? And it's true because if you go on the internet and search, there'll be all these key sites that are selling keys. The what most people don't realize is you bought yourself a key, not a license. Now some people might not care. They just want it to work, and they don't care about being legal. But for those companies that want to be legal, you want to buy an actual license, not just a key. But in our channel, you get access to a single key for the client products, and it makes your life super simple. So you're not typing in a key on every single machine that you load or device that you load. You just use the same key embedded in your image, and then buy the stickers. So, but we get that question a lot. And then the last question is, how do I convert my eval to a fully licensed product? And yeah, this is like almost a daily or every other day thing where you can download an eval for Windows IoT, but you'll soon find out that you can't convert an eval to real. Evals are strictly evals, and they do not allow you to just put a key in there and convert it to a real product. So we get that situation a lot, and it does suck for the OEM because they have to start over with the real media. And so for OEMs, we try to stress to them, make sure you're downloading the real media, not an eval. And the media in the Visual Studio or MSDN subscription, that's real too, but again, it's not considered the official media. So Microsoft wants you to use the media from the website that I had on the ticker that's not on there now, but MicrosoftOEM.com. But cool. Let's jump into some of the other stuff I wanted to cover today, which is the product lifecycle and end of life. Because there's no really new announcements and new products coming out right now, the real focus right now is which ones are going away, which ones are ending their life and they're ending their support. So it's kind of the focus during the summer right now, because again, we don't have any new products to talk about. And this chart covers, this is every product in our IoT embedded channel. This is all of them. And this is their life cycles as far as buying and selling it. This is not support. This is the actual life of the product. And in this channel, the products have really long life cycles. Some of the older ones had 15 years of life. The newer ones only have 10 years. But you can see the first two on this little graph is Win7 and also Win10 LTSB 2015. And both of those products go end of life this month. So it's highlighted at the top of the left column. I know it's probably a little hard to see. But July 2025, both of those products go end of life. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then from there, it's CE7 and then LTSB 2016, and then you get to PA 7. So we still have some Win7 products that are around. Of course, Win7 is one I'm talking about now. But this is the full list and the full list of the life cycle. So let's look at those two products that are going into life and what your options are. Let's start with Win7, end of life, July 2025. In fact, it goes, well, about a month from now, July 27th, I think. And when that product's been around for 15 years, a long time. And when the support's already done with it, and they had extended security updates to extend the support another 3 years, and that's already done. So we're beyond, the support, and now you've got a month left of this product. So the question I'm getting lately is, can I do a last time buy? That's the big one we get, right? And I think I have a slide to speak to that here in a second, but you cannot do a last time buy. You have to deplete all your COAs before that end of life date. And what you're going to want to do is move to Win8, which doesn't go end of life until March of 2028. And then you would apply that Win8 COA to the device, and then you can continue to load your Win7 image and keep right on shipping until 2028, March of 2028. From there, you should be able to go to Windows 11 or whatever the newest and highest end product is. But Microsoft hasn't confirmed that yet, because the Wes family is a little different than the full-blown IoT Enterprise family. So we're still trying to get confirmation from Microsoft if you can in 2028 jump to the newest product and still downgrade. So again, Wes family, you can buy Win8. Ironically, the Win8 is the same price as the Win7. So Win8, same price, and then you can keep loading your Win7 image. The Windows 10 one on the bottom, 2015 LTSB, that product's been around for 10 years. It was the original launch of Windows 10. Not a lot of customers, stuck with that one. They moved on to newer versions. So I know we don't have hardly anyone there. But if you need to keep shipping a device with the 2015 version, you will have to move to Windows 11 LTSC 2024 high end. Put that sticker on the machine, and then you can keep loading the 2015 version of Windows 10. And of course, support's going to end on that too, because it has 10 years of support. So, that support will end on that product this October. So, Henry, have you been getting questions on the Win7 or the 2015? Have you seen any people asking about that?
Just a few. I've had some people come in. They realize the end of the EOL is so close. They've started to ask for some. What's my transition here?
My fear, and everyone does it, is they do a last time buy, because in the regular channel with Microsoft, when a product is going into life, you can do a last time buy, stock up on it, and keep going. But not in our channel, because the products had such long life cycles. You can't do last time buys. It's prohibited. So you've got to switch to a newer COA, and then you can keep shipping the actual software image. Let's look at downgrade rights in detail, which I kind of covered, but yeah, so downgrade rights in our channel do not become available, and I'm specifically talking about the client products. So the server products, they all have downgrade rights right from the get-go. The client product, and that's where the confusion comes from. So the server products do have downgrade rights right away. 2022, you can downgrade 2019. In the client IoT world, downgrade rights don't become available until the product goes end of life. And so July 27th, WES 7 goes end of life. That opens the door to downgrade rights, which allow you to buy the WES 8 COA. So OEMs were prohibited from shipping that WES 7 COA past the end of life date. There are no last time buys. If an OEM wants to keep shipping, you need to buy the WES 8 sticker, as I said. Apply that to the device, then load your WES 7 image. Make sure you deplete all your inventory before July 27th, because they become worthless after that date because you're not allowed to ship them anymore. Do you have any questions on that? Anything that kind of comes up in your world, or misconceptions, or?
Nothing too specific, but one good resource I'm always able to point them to, I don't know if you have a link that you can put in the crawler, but is the blog that you have.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, the blogs are out on our Arrow website. So that's a great place to plug our website. So arrow.com/WinIoT will take you to the Microsoft Arrow page, and under resources, blogs, I wrote a blog on downgrade rights. I think there's a few of them out there that does cover it in detail. So that's a great point. And then, of course, I do have more videos on the channel around this subject. And I'll probably turn this right here into a video specifically for WES 7. And then it's going to be the same identical slide for the Win10 2015. So I'm not going to go through all these bullet points. But the difference here is you need to buy the most current and high-end product, which is Windows 11 LTSC 2024. You've got to buy the high-end. So normally you would buy these licenses based on the processor for the Windows 10 and 11 family, right? But if you're going to be using downgrade rights, you have to buy the high-end, regardless of what processor you have. So keep that in mind. So let's talk the latest news for extending support for Windows 10, because again, we're fast approaching October 2025, and that's when the date for end of support for Windows 10 comes into play. Regular Windows 10, Windows 10 Home and Pro, the support ends this October. So Microsoft just did update some additional news that is targeted for consumers and then individuals, and so out on their Learn website, they've had some information that they were going to be offering extended security updates for Windows 10 Home and Pro to individuals, but they hadn't really posted any details on where you buy it or how you get it or what it was going to cost. And so they did, just a few days ago, add this additional info. And ultimately what they're saying is you have 3 options to get a 1-year extension for security on your Windows 10 Home and Pro. And the first 2 don't cost anything, I guess, if you have Microsoft reward points, that is. But the first option, they're saying use Windows Backup to sync your settings to the cloud. So they basically if you use Windows Backup to back up your system and system settings to the Microsoft cloud, then they'll give you the ESU for free for 1 year. And it normally costs $30. So option 3 is you just pay $30. So if you don't want to back up your system to the cloud and you don't want your stuff on the Microsoft cloud, you can simply just pay them the $30, and then they will enable the 1-year extension, taking you to October 13th, 2026, as the smaller text says there. The one in the middle says redeem 1,000 Microsoft reward points. I think you get reward points from using Bing. I mean, I'm the Windows champ. I don't even use Bing, honestly. So, but I think I've earned points. I probably have no idea how many points I have, but I guess if you have 1,000 Microsoft reward points, you can redeem that for the 1-year ESU support. So if you're an individual consumer, again, this is not for companies. This is for just home users. And then the other option is, well, where are you going to go? Where do you go to pay for that? Well, it's going to start popping up in Windows Update. So when you run Windows Update and you get the screen that shows you how many updates you have and stuff, they're going to give you the ESU option right there. Because if you want to keep updating your system past the October date, they're going to put that option right there with a button to choose one of these three things. Back it up, redeem the points, or pay the $30. So again, consumers, not regular people. Regular people, consumers, not companies or OEMs, right? So let's look at so there's another option that's through the volume channel that is supposed to be available come September, I think, is what I read in the Learn post, in the blog post. And through the volume channel, which again is geared toward more companies that are using Pro, they'll have a 3-year option that will cost $61 for year one, and then it will double every year after, for a total of $427 for 3 years for one device. So I can't imagine paying $400 just to get 3 years worth of security patches, but that's the option for that. And so what I'm saying to those, if you're an OEM that's building an appliance and you're still on 10 Pro, do not pay $427. Instead, migrate to the Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC for a lot less money and get 7 years of support. And it's based on the processor with the highest price being around $140. So $140 and get 7 years of support if you migrate to the IoT version. So then the question has come up recently about the build versions, because if you're on build 22H2 of Windows 10 Pro and you need to then migrate to Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC, which is based on build 21H2, which is an older one, that's not going to work, Ken, right? Can I do an in-place upgrade? And the answer is yes. I've tested it multiple times. Even if you're on 22H2, you can do an in-place upgrade and migrate from Pro to IoT Enterprise LTSC 2021 build 21H2. It works. It's simple. So if you've got all these devices in the field on Pro, support's ending, you don't want to spend $400 per device, now's your chance to get to the IoT channel.
Hey, Ken, real quick, I will say I've had a couple of customers come in just this past month with this that aren't just individual users. They have devices out there that they've been using Windows 10 Pro on, and they're worried about the end of support. And we've been able to successfully migrate them over to IoT. They're thrilled at the thought of the support.
Yeah.
As far as it's going to go. So I'll say to anybody out there that might be on the fence about it, isn't sure about it, it's well worth it to convert if you're running these on devices like that. Not individual computers, general purpose computers, but dedicated appliances. It
has to be an appliance. It has to qualify to be an appliance, right? Yep. And even that discussion around what is an appliance, what's the definition of an appliance? There's wiggle room there depending on what industry it is, and there's a lot of misconception because people think, oh, you can only run one app and it has to be locked down to just that one app, and I want to put management software, or I want to put backups. It's all those are misconceptions. You can run multiple apps. You don't even have to lock it down. That's the level of how much you lock it down is up to you. You can run stuff off the desktop. You can have backup software. You can have management software. You can have any kind of software that's in support of the system. But again, the system has to be dedicated to a specific function. And it can even surf the web. Like we've had kiosks like at hotels where it opens a window to allow a guest to surf the web. That qualifies. But again, the system is dedicated to that, and it's like kiosk type thing. It's not allowing the guest to just do whatever they want, right? It's got to be fixed purpose. So perfect on that. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, this is just the roadmap for Pro versus LTSC. So we do have other versions of IoT LTSC. They're older ones, but even they go to 2026 and 2029. But definitely you would want to move to 2021, which gets you support all the way till 2032. Yeah, and for an affordable price, right? So if you're not ready to move to Windows 11, you have an option at an affordable price to get you all the way to 2032 and still run Windows 10. And I think that's kind of all I had today. I was trying to think if there was anything else to cover, but I don't think so.
I'll add one more thing to what you just said there. For people that might be, hesitant to move to 11, they're still wanting to stay on 10, and that's all well and good. Obviously, there's going to be lots of life left here in the channel for you to continue using Windows 10. But even moving to Windows 11, like I mentioned earlier, you have access to those products now. You can download them, start testing with them, see if they will work with your solution.
Yeah, that's true.
Windows 11 doesn't have the same security requirements that Windows 11 Pro does. I'm sorry, Windows 11 IoT LTSC.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry so much about your hardware not being compatible. You can probably run some of the same hardware that you're using for Windows 10 on those new Windows 11 devices. But again, you have access to it. You can test it. You can find out if it works for you, and you've got a lot of time left to figure that out.
That's a great point, because in fact I had that question this morning. I had a customer that was adamant that they couldn't upgrade their systems to Windows 11 because they didn't have TPM chips.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, the Windows 11 IoT Enterprise LTSC does not require a TPM or secure boot. It's completely optional, where regular Windows, it's required.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum specifications for Windows 11, the minimum hardware specifications are lower. So you may be able to, older hardware that you wouldn't run 11 Pro will probably work just fine on 11 IoT Enterprise LTSC. So again, that's come to us. We can talk about your hardware. We can talk about the processor, the chipset, the RAM, all that, and figure out if it's going to support it or not. So I did throw how you contact us. So that email address goes to an inbox that we monitor. Henry is the primary monitor of that box. So drop him a question there. I don't see any questions in our comment section, which is completely fine. And so with that, I will say thank you guys for watching the live stream, and keep watching the channel. We'll have some new videos coming out before long. Get your products from Arrow. Thanks for being my guest, Henry, and everyone have a good day.